Howard, I'm so happy you're home.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to.
Your final bros are here. It's Brian Hoppo Lagrosta and Shane the Bohemian Smith. Today we are diving right back into a Ty West film. We are doing Pearl.
Oh yes, we are. My favorite Ty West film that I've seen, because I think I've only seen 3 of his.
X.
Pearl, Cabin Fever 2.
Oh yeah, fair.
Because I haven't seen his other really good one that you had mentioned, the House of the Devil. Haven't seen that one.
Oh yeah, so I've seen that, and I've also seen The Innkeepers, which I thought was okay. People really love it. I don't really see the hype, but I have to watch it again. House of the Devil I really like.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. All right. Oh, well, also The Sacrament. That was also a good one.
Oh yeah, I forgot to watch that too. That is also pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he has his hits. Oh, the segment he did in VHS was Honeymoon.
Not terrible.
No, but not the
but
best.
Also not the best. That's the one right after the Gargoyle one.
Yes.
It's like the second one.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, I remember.
So it's not the best.
That's Canyon Fodder.
Yeah, it's Canyon Fodder.
Yeah, that's right. That's Canyon Fodder.
Funny.
And then he did one of the worst ones of ABCs of Death, right?
Yeah, MS for Miscarriage. I hate that one. It's just stupid. But, I mean, it's not as bad as Cabin Fever 2.
That is awful. That movie is trash.
Funny,
but
trash.
Entertaining, terrible movie.
Yeah. But Pearl now. I like it more than X. I know we disagree.
I mean, it's definitely
It's not as good of a horror movie as X, but I like it as a movie more than X.
Yeah, it's just a different type of movie.
It's weird.
It's a character piece. It's just really like, it's not a horror movie. I don't like, it doesn't even give me a vibe of it being a horror movie.
There's nothing
whatsoever.
scary.
No, it's
Her smile occasionally.
It's the depiction of her character after watching X, because X is more of a traditional horror movie, at least in the sense of like there being killers that live on the property. This is just a character from X and getting her growing up, essentially just following her story,
her descent into madness.
Yeah.
Did you get like Wizard of Oz vibes at times from this movie?
It's very whimsical.
With
yes.
the color, like how bright and vibrant the color is, to the scarecrow sex, to the just all of it.
Yeah.
It just felt like a nursery rhyme gone wrong.
Well, because it's a rural area, Texas. It's not Kansas, but it's Texas.
Yeah, close enough.
They're surrounded by cornfields.
Love corn.
They live in a farmhouse. She has to tend to animals. I see the way that she dresses. It's the early 1900s. I believe the timeline is 1918.
Yeah.
Is the year that this takes place.
Basically, Wizard of Oz.
During the First World War. Yeah, no, I get the vibe.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it, bro. There's a lot to talk about, so let's jump into the spooky bit.
Let's do it, Shano. Pearl was released in 2022. 1918 is the year a young, cooped-up farm girl on the edge of a psychotic break pursues her dreams of becoming a star in the pictures. Also, like I said, directed by Ty West. We're doing a back-to-back. Stars Mia Goth as Pearl, David Cornsweet as the projectionist, Tandy Wright as Ruth, who's her mother, Matthew Sunderland as father, who's her father, and Emma Jenkins Perot as Mitzi.
Mitzi. Poor Mitzi. I love that scene, but poor Mitzi.
Mitzi is, like, again, like, whoof. A lot of movies try to portray, like, well-to-do or, like, people that, I guess you could say, have it all, quote-unquote, as bad people.
Yes.
This is not a bad person by any stretch.
No.
And her family isn't either, from what I see.
No.
Because her mother's the one that gives their parents
food,
and they're like, her mother rejects it because her mother's a miserable bitch.
Yeah.
As charity. Like, she's like, why can't it just be like, I'm giving you something? You know, like, I'm giving you food.
Yeah.
Not charity. I'm just being nice.
And that's the thing. Like, sometimes, like, she's just a miserable person, so she takes everything the wrong way at all times.
But this is it. She lived a particular way and was unfortunately given unduly circumstances due to the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
Because her husband's basically like is a vegetable.
He is, yeah.
But had hardships of her life, so she's just making it miserable for her daughter and everybody else around her. So now, of course, because of those hardships, everybody else has to suffer, which isn't fair, obviously. There's no fairness. There's still good-hearted people outside of that, and she's just not seeking that outward help and dragging everybody down, which is ipso facto the reason why her daughter becomes a psycho, crazed killer. She's cooped up. Her mother is a verbally abusive woman who literally is controlling, doesn't let her do anything. And because of that, I feel like she became psychotic. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's like actually exactly what happened.
She's the cause of her to be crazy. Because it's interesting, and it made me think, because there's parts of this movie where, like, the mother mentions, like, I see what you do, Pearl, and, you know, what you do is just, like, unfathomable. You do unfathomable things. So I'm thinking to myself, is it because Pearl herself is just fucking crazy? Is she going up crazy? Or the mother drove her to this point?
I think the mother drove her to that point. And the mother, being a terrible mother, didn't do anything to change it. She just ignored it. Like, when she starts seeing her torturing the animals, clearly that's a kid lashing out. Like, maybe fix something. Instead, she did nothing. She just stayed the same and made it worse.
It's like one of the first opening scenes of the movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the opening scene is, she's like, "Hi there, Mr. Goose.
How do you like this rake?"
Yeah, and she fucking just kills the goose. And, like, the kill is off screen, but then you see her with the goose in the pitchfork, carrying it to feed it to the alligator. Theta.
Yep.
Which is named after her favorite picture.
Fraternity, Theta Chi, or...
I thought it was after her favorite picture star or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
She really is, like, she loves the movies, you know, the silent pictures. She wants to be a star in the picture. If you know anything from X, like we said last week. If not, listen to our review of X, watch it on YouTube. We go through it. They wrote this, like, Ty West did this pretty much at the same time. But yeah, like, we know Pearl is the old lady, just wanted to be something of herself. Obviously, knowing the fallout of that movie, she never leaves this farm.
No.
She's a miserable bitch. She never, like, gets over that. And just kind of becomes, like, takes her psychotic craze to the next level where she can never get the attention that she never got for her mother.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
This whole movie is just her seeking attention that she couldn't get from her parents. So, like you said, we see her mother's a bitch. Her dad is, like, sick, a vegetable, can't do anything for himself.
Her husband Howard is now gone to the war.
So she's all alone. So she has to go into town to fetch her dad's medicine, which is liquid morphine.
Correct.
She's going to go to the store. She's going to buy some liquid morphine, as one does. Only 2 nickels. So morphine, really cheap. Would have been, you know, great for drug addicts back then. This is the thing, though. This scene was very different. She goes to the cinema, and she's just drinking the liquid morphine in the cinema.
Yeah.
And I was like, is she going to be able to walk after that? Because I feel, isn't morphine the one that, like, fucks you up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to fuck her up. You're going to be real loopy, like, if she isn't already. But, yeah, so she's watching it as a Palace Follies.
Follies.
I'm pretty sure she's probably seen this picture.
Oh, she loves this picture.
It's a good one.
It is terrible. Cinema was just so bad.
I mean, this is the movie of, like, literally women, like, thrusting their legs up.
Yeah.
That is it.
That is the movie. If you like women thrusting this legs up, man, great one for you out there.
She's just trying to be a rock cat.
Yeah, it's terrible. So she leaves. She's, like, in the back alley, and the projectionist comes out, and he's like, "Hey, you want to smoke this cig with me and, like, talk movies?" She's like, "Sure." And she smokes a little cig with him, and he's like, "Hey, let me give you this film roll." And he's clearly hitting on her.
Yeah,
clearly hitting on her.
And does she mention about her? She does, right? She mentions right away that she has
a husband.
A husband that's gone.
Yeah, to the war.
To the war, yeah.
So she's like, "Yeah, I'm taking woman."
Basically, if you ever, see yourself and you want to watch this movie again, I can play the movies for whenever I want. I live here.
Yeah.
Little does she know that he's a bohemian. What's a bohemian? I love that word so much. It's someone that literally is a nomad that just picks up and drops themselves. Picks up and drops
So that's where Bohemian Rhapsody comes from.
Yeah, just a fucking vagrant that picks up, that drops themselves.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I guess their Rhapsody, which is their song, the song of the
Bohemians.
Which is just a song that's just an incoherent mess, which makes sense because you would think the lifestyle of a bohemian is just an incoherent mess.
So this song is genius now, is what you're telling me.
No, actually, I'm telling you that it's the lyrics of someone who
it's a crazy person.
Picking up and dropping, and it just has no rationale for anything.
I'm just a poor boy from a poor family.
Yeah.
Scaramouche, something
Galileo.
Yeah, something about Fandango.
God, that song is so bad. I'll just keep saying it. I am definitely the lone warrior fighting this battle, but God, that song is so terrible.
Yeah.
If you hate Bohemian Rhapsody, drop a comment.
Does anyone side with Brian?
Is anybody with me in this fight?
All right. So she's, biking like she does in The Wizard of Oz, and the film roll flies into the cornfield.
And she's got to go get it because where else are you going to see thrusting legs?
Exactly. So she goes into the cornfield. She sees a scarecrow.
It's probably the second best thing.
The scarecrow?
Yeah.
It's terrifying looking.
Not to her.
No. She's kind of, she's like, she goes up to it. She's like, hey, Mr. Scarecrow, you want to see me dance?
Now that she's watched a movie, like she got a movie in her, like she's fresh off a hot film.
She's also fresh on morphine.
Yeah. So she's going to do what she wants to do, and that's get attention from an inanimate object as a scarecrow.
She bangs the shit out of the scarecrow.
Drops the scarecrow and just bangs it.
Yeah. She gets off on it.
100%.
Did the scarecrow get off?
No.
Okay.
Because it's made of straw.
Well, I had to ask.
It got off of the pole.
I don't even know if that was the appropriate sound for that.
It never is. I just click buttons and hope it's what I'm thinking. It never is.
I feel like there's a better sound somewhere for that. Maybe this one. Whoa!
That's always a good. How about this one?
Are we passion bumping this?
Oh, her banging the
scarecrow, right?
Chain.
Passion bump. Passion bump. Passion bump. My G. So we've actually passion bumped a decent amount in a row. We haven't done this in a while. Like the passion bump, I feel like is back.
We got to bring it back.
It is back because we went very passionless for a while. Now we're back. We want that la pasión.
Ooh, is that Spanish?
That's my Antonio Banderas.
Got it. And as you do these accents, it does raise questions.
Okay.
I do have one for you.
Okay.
If you were in the Winter Olympic Games, what sport were you participating in?
Curling.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think I'd be a really good curler.
Really?
Yeah. That whole kind of slide. Yeah.
I don't understand the sport at all. I still don't.
Me either. But I think I'd be good at it.
If you chip the ice, does it misdirect
Don't have a clue.
the ball?
Don't know.
It is?
Don't know, but I think I'd be good at it.
I don't know anything about that sport. It is fun to watch. It's like the sport that everybody loves to watch, but will never dig in to understand it.
No one knows the rules. They're just like, this is interesting.
How does somebody get into curling?
I don't know.
I think it's one of those things where you have to live in the right area of the world to really get involved in that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like hockey.
Yeah.
Nobody just plays hockey.
No, you have to live in an area where it's like we play hockey. Like who in New Jersey is playing hockey?
Yeah.
The Devils. That's it.
That's it. Like you go to anywhere in Canada, you're a hockey player.
Yeah, you go to New Jersey, they're like, you're not playing hockey because we can't afford it.
No, you're going to get a high interest rate, and you're going to get fortunately, you're going to get a lot of stress.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get hit.
That's what you play when you're in New Jersey. High stress and opioids.
The Brian LaGrosse the tale, frankly.
So she's done banging the scarecrow. She's going to go back home. Her mom's going to be like, where were you? What's going on? Why are you late? Why is that dirty hat in my house?
She's like, I clocked you in. You should have been here about 3 hours ago.
Yeah. And she's like, also, don't I get change? She's like, I spent it on candy. So she can't eat dinner anymore.
She actually pulls back her dinner. She goes, nope, you're going to go up to your room. You're done.
Okay. I actually have several questions.
Sure.
Though.
Fire away. Hopefully I can answer them.
Yeah. One, she's married, right, to Howard? So,
correct.
My question is, how old is she? And is she old enough that she should be able to tell her mom, I'm still eating dinner?
Well, I mean, she was old enough to, number one, get married, and number two, have a baby aborted. So
yes.
Old enough.
Yeah. So I don't think her mom should be able to tell her, no, you're not eating dinner, right? I'm like...
100%.
Yeah.
It's the old adage, you live under my roof, you have to follow my rules.
It's absurd. It's why people were miserable for majority of their lives.
Yep.
That's just not fair.
No, nothing about this is fair. Nothing about this is fair to Pearl.
Yeah.
She's literally working on her farm. So yes, of course, she's living under the roof. Her husband is fighting in the war. First of all, if you fight in the war, you get a break.
Yeah.
You get a fucking break.
Right.
Even if you're the wife of all, you get a break.
Yes, because it's not like Pearl isn't doing anything.
This guy's putting his life on the line.
And she's tending the animals. She's helping clean up.
Which
gives
was
the
his
woman
job,
yeah.
which is why he came to the farm. He was a farmhand.
Yes, and now she's doing it for him while he's fighting a war. So give her a goddamn break.
Deserves a break.
But they don't. That's because her mom is an evil bitch.
She literally is probably Hitler's sister.
Yes, she is German.
She's a Bavarian princess.
Yes, she's a Bavarian cream.
Bavarian cream. Did her husband fight in the war? Did father fight in the war?
No, didn't he just get that the Spanish flu?
The Spanish flu.
The man just got Spanish flu. I actually feel bad for the father because even Pearl feels bad for her dad.
Is it father or father?
Father. It's a father. So the next day, Mitzi's gonna show up. She's visiting with her mom. They're gonna bring over the pig.
A nice stuffed pig.
Yeah, and Mitzi's gonna talk to Pearl, and she's like, "Pearl, I know you like the dance, and there's this dance troupe I'm gonna go try out for at the church. Would you like to come with me and try out?"
They're traveling different parts of the state.
Yeah.
Right?
State, so they would get out of the house and just travel.
And to Pearl, this is like stardom.
Yes, this is literally everything she's ever hoped for.
This is not like for what it really is, just like an 8-week tour across different towns of very low populace.
In Texas,
performing.
yeah.
Yes.
Where they're going to churches with 10 people in them. No, this is it. This is the big time for Pearl. This is Hollywood. This is Pearl's Hollywood.
This is like her first attempt at attention.
Which is fair, though, because everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah, and this is going to be, the only girl picked up for town because they're going town to town picking one girl from
one
town.
girl. So she is competing also with Mitzi, which is very important to note. So the next day, she's going to sneak off in the middle of the night. Actually, it's not the next day. It's the night. She sneaks off in the middle of the night. She's going to go to the projectionist, and she's going to be like, "Hey, can I watch the films with you?" He has a special film he's been wanting to show her. A French stag film.
This is what they're doing in France, and it's the depiction of one man just approaching two women in the woods and banging them both, essentially.
Yeah, there's a lot of bush, and I don't mean wood bush.
This is like 1910s bush.
Yeah.
And these are the films that he wants to be a part of.
Why did anyone ever want to have that much bush?
I don't know why. Like, it took till the 1990s to start shaving your bush.
Right?
Like, I don't.
It just
I don't get
seems uncomfortable.
I don't get that because in the 2000s, nobody had a bush.
No.
Bushes weren't heard of, but like, I guess in the 90s, everyone was just rocking a bush.
Yeah. Like, you can have, sometimes there's a little bit of hair, get it? Maybe didn't shave for a couple weeks, it's fine, happens. But like, that's like, they're trying to be Afro Man.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pre-90s, pre-90s, everyone was rocking a bush, and I also agree. I don't understand why that was such an appeal. Maybe it wasn't like a, careful, like, don't get me wrong, like, women are beautiful either way, but would you prefer no bush? Of course.
Of course. But even a guy, like, for a woman, like, who wants to just get hair in your mouth?
Yeah.
No one wants that.
No.
It's gross.
Go flush your teeth with it.
That's a good one. That one was appropriate. So, yeah, they're watching the stag film, and, he's saying, they're illegal here, but in France, they're allowed.
Is it legal to do? Yeah. Is it legal to film? No.
No. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah. So she goes back home, and actually, no, before she goes home, she actually has a very important conversation where he talks about, like, going to Europe, and that's where you can become an artist, and it's like you'll make more money and do your thing.
He basically talks about how much of a bohemian he is.
Yes, but she talks about how she hopes her parents die. Yeah. So she can do that.
Dark.
And he's like, oh, well, I'm going to go to bed.
She has obligations to them, yeah.
So she's going to go back home. And I think when she sneaks back home, she, like, hears her mom crying.
Yep.
And I would feel bad for the mom if she wasn't such a miserable bitch.
No, she, this is the case of, like, I do feel bad for her, like, her circumstance, but she does not make it inviting to sympathize with her plight.
Yes, because she makes everything worse for others. She's the typical, everything is bad for me, so I'm going to make sure everything is worse for you so I feel better about my situation.
100%. But the thing is, like, her situation is so bad and she's so rotten, she'll never feel good.
100%.
Like,
100%.
she'll never. It's absent for her.
Yes, it is dead. So the next day, I think Pearl is like finally decided she's going to get rid of her parents. So she takes her dad, wheels him to the dock. And
Do you think if the mother didn't come
show up,
here?
she was dumping her dad into the alligator mouth. Like she literally like, because the way she was talking to him like apologizing and saying, I'm going to miss you essentially. If the mom doesn't show up, like.
We know from X this thing just eats humans whole. So
Yeah.
like pretty much.
Yeah.
Or at least eats the body parts because I think that Pearl does a good job of cutting shit up in them.
No, it does eat whole humans because in the X it eats what's her name, Bobby Lynn whole.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, she is whole. Because you know in X, like a lot of the bodies are cut up, like they're severed. But yeah, she's
Bobby
actually,
Lynn
she's
just
in the
gets eaten
water,
whole.
yeah.
So they have dinner that night, and Pearl starts to tell her mom like, "Look, I'm going to a dance audition. I'm gonna see if I can make it." And she's like,
"No, you're not."
Yes. The mom's like, no, you have an obligation here. And
Pearl, not Pearl.
And Pearl, like, her argument is sound. She's like, I just want to try. She's like, even if I don't make it, I'll come here.
No.
I'll never talk about it again. I would hate myself more if I didn't try it.
9.
Yes. Literally yells it.
She's like, 9.
And Pearl.
Scheiße. 9.
And Pearl.
Pearl.
They start screaming at each
Not
other. In
Pearl.
this. She's like, you think I'm happy here? You think I like this life? My German
Look
accent.
at your father.
Yeah. Do you see this man? This is not the man I married.
No, but she's got like an Americanized German accent. It's not like
no, it's not. It's very.
It's not like Beer Fest.
No, God, no. But yeah, she's just Pearl's mom goes off about how she didn't want any of this. She didn't ask for this life, but this was the card she was dealt, and she lived with it. But that's the thing. You would think she would want then Pearl to have a better life and try to better herself.
This is what parents do. Like, the reason why you have kids is because you want them to have the better life, even better life than you had.
Yes.
You live vicariously through your child. You want your child to win the baseball games.
Yes.
To become the star. To become the next
Yes.
star of Palace Follies.
Yes. So why
To star in the European porno flicks.
Yes. So why this mom is like, no, you stay here miserable on the farm with me, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But that's just who she is. So they get up, they slap each other around a bit. It's sick because the dad can't do anything, and he's just sitting there watching, fucking eye twitching like he's Victor Saltamamaka in Breaking Bad. And then Pearl's mom kind of accidentally catches on fire.
She kind of like when she hits her like a little bit, like she does like a back step and she falls into the fireplace, which is lit, and catches her a little bit.
Yeah. And Pearl's not in a rush to put her out.
No, she's like, you know what? Let me just admire this for a bit.
Yeah, she's like a beautiful fire. She like roasts her hands out. She's like warm up real quick over her mom's corpse. Then she literally just drags her mom head thumping on each step down into the basement.
Yeah.
Yikes. She then leaves her home.
She's a mess.
Yeah. She goes to the projectionist again. Fucking just sleeps with him. Horror move. What would Howard think?
Well, this is legitimately her cheating on her husband.
Yeah.
And he went to the war. You know, once you go to the war,
Your wife is going to sleep with the nearest man.
100%.
Doesn't even have to be attractive. Just the nearest man.
The reality is, like, someone goes off to war, they're probably banging every chick. You know, they probably go around the shows and get the premiere treatment. They're probably banging every
Oh,
chick.
God. It's terrible.
Who knows? I don't. I didn't fight in the war.
No, me either. The next day, after they sleep together and everything seems happy, the projectionist drives Pearl back to her farm.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be going good until he goes onto the stairs and just sees a maggot pig on the staircase.
Yeah, that's a call out. Is the maggot pig.
Yeah, it's a maggot pig. That's like, so that's thing one of, this is kind of weird.
She walks in, and I think he just like walks in the house.
Yeah. She shows him her dad, who's like drooling all over himself, and he's like, okay, this is strike 2 of maybe I should leave. Like, is the pussy worth it?
Is the pussy worth the squeeze?
Yeah. Yeah, that pretty much. Then he starts to hear like noises coming from the basement.
A thumping. I think they go to the room and they're trying to hook up.
They're hooking up.
And he hears a thumping, which is throwing him off. Like he wants to see what that is.
Yeah. So she runs, stops him. She's like, oh, it's our dog. We have a dog. He's a bad boy. He knocked this corn all over the floor.
He's making a ruckus down there.
Yeah.
It's a dog.
It's a dog.
Or Tim Ryan.
Yeah, but it's most likely a dog. Or a raccoon.
Yep, sure.
It's a dog.
Could be.
So they go into the barn.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, this is my goat. And when she starts talking about all these farm animals,
Yep.
it's actually really creepy again. And he's like unsettled. And then
it's super creepy because she's like, they watch all of my performances.
yeah.
She's talking about like how she performs like these little dances and shows to the
air.
audience of animals.
Yes. And he's like, okay, strike 3. He also gets to strike 4 because then he's like, oh, what about your dog? And she's like, I don't have a dog. He's like, that's
You lied to me.
Yeah, lied to me. And she's like, oh no, well,
You know,
yeah.
Why are you walking away? Like,
Yeah.
where are you going?
she's like, wait, no, why did you get cold on me? Why did you get cold on me?
He's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. She like her switch to crazy fast, real fast.
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna get in his car. She's gonna fucking stab him with a pitchfork like multiple times while he's driving.
You see his
and
that's the car. Yeah,
the car's gonna crash. She's gonna dump the car into the lake, which is the car in X
that Kid Cudi's character finds in his midnight stroll.
So no one has ever gone there in the 50 years.
There's had to be somebody else. I mean, obviously, there's that person in the basement.
True. No, I just meant like no one ever noticed the car in the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how like so many people like go missing and like the fact that like Mitzi was known to be with her going to the place.
Yeah.
And that was never like seems to be a nothing burger of a story of an investigation upon her farm or wherever she was. At least to our knowledge.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
I'm well, because when we get to the end, we'll have to discuss what we think, how this all took place. But yeah, so after he's killed, she goes into her house. She just suffocates her dad with a fucking pillow.
Yeah, she definitely had like she felt bad for her dad.
Yeah,
I think this was like one of the things.
A pity. Well, she says she regrets killing her dad. In her monologue at the end of this movie, she says, "I regret killing him. He didn't deserve it."
I think partially it's just like she almost like probably was doing this out of sympathy for him, but also probably just like I can't even like leave you in this circumstance.
Yes,
like
it was almost like a mercy kill.
It was mercy. I feel
for someone who's as crazy as her. Okay, now let's get to where she goes fully off the deep end. She goes to the dance tryout, I guess it would be called.
Yeah.
She meets Mitzi there. They're talking. Girls are coming out crying. Looks like a bad time.
Tough crowd, but she tells Mitzi, she's like, it's going to be me. It has to be me.
Yeah. And then Pearl goes first. Pearl gives her dance. Wonderful dance. There's clowns. There's army.
Red,
people.
white, and blue fireworks in the background.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then they're like, it's a no from me, honey.
That's going to be a no, dog.
Yeah, pretty much. And then when she's like, why? And they're like, well, honestly, you're not hot and blonde enough. And that's got to be the worst thing to hear.
Yeah, it's a sting.
Yeah. They're like, you're too old and you're not blonde, even though you're like 18.
You're not exactly what we're looking
for. Yikes.
I love how straight he was.
And she fucking screams at them. She's like,
I mean, this is what she worked her whole life for, to just be, in this audition to be a part of the church
dance crew.
Dance crew.
And she was turned down, and she's not happy, and she's going to storm out,
fucking
crying,
guttural cries.
Yes,
like insane crying. Mitzi like soft approaches her for them to go home.
Yep,
going back to the farmhouse.
And Mitzi and Pearl sit down at the kitchen table and they're talking. Pearl's like just talking how she feels bad and how like she has no one to talk to and she feels bad about Howard. And Mitzi's like, talk to me like I'm Howard. Like, what would you say to him?
And that's
the biggest mistake of Mitzi's life. Because Pearl, she goes
like,
in.
She thinks like she's like talking to Howard.
Yeah. She talks literally like she's talking to Howard. This goes on, I think I read 7 minutes and 29 seconds.
It's an insane monologue. So good. Very, very good. First of all, Mia Goth absolutely crushes this.
Yep.
I like to say that she starts off the monologue by saying that I think she touches on the cheating.
Yes.
Right? Like
she does.
Right away
it's like one of the first things.
Like she didn't mean anything by it. She didn't even want to like really even have a relationship with this person. Again, I don't think it's the person. I think it's the attention.
It's the attention.
Like
yeah, it's the attention.
Shit about the projectionist. aka the Bohemian.
Yeah, it was all about the attention. That's all she cared about.
Yeah, she wasn't looking for like a Rhapsody or like anything from the Bohemian.
No.
The only thing you're getting from this Bohemian is the Spanish flu,
Yes.
which the mother warned her about.
Yep. No one got it, luckily.
Well, the father had it.
Yeah, he had it, but
Nobody
no one
else
got it.
was contracting the Spanish flu.
Thank God for that. She goes on about after the cheating. She actually goes on about how like she murdered animals. She started off small, then she started murdering bigger animals. Then she murdered her parents, which I'm sure Mitzi didn't want to hear.
No, we really would expect to hear.
No,
That's what isolational duty, though, you know?
Yep, murdered the projectionist. She mentions that. She mentions how like all she wanted was to be someone and for people to admire her and to look up to her and to love her.
And her obligations, it's kept bringing her back
Bringing
there.
her back,
It's like a ball in a chain.
Almost how she also almost basically admits how she used Howard, because Howard was the one person who paid attention to her. So it's not even like she liked Howard. She liked the attention from Howard. She is a sociopath. And I think that's what it comes down to.
She absolutely is. And we know where it stems from. We've touched on it a ton of times in this episode. I also agree. I don't even know if she is like truly in love with Howard.
No, I think she just loves the attention that he gave her.
I don't think a person like this, it's very difficult for them to find love.
Yes, because they don't love other people. They love what other people can do for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, she goes on and on and on. And then Mitzi's like, it's great. Just tell Howard all that. I'm going to go.
I'm just going to like walk out of here.
We don't have to talk about this ever again.
I love how she suddenly brings up, she's like, you did. I know you won. I know you got the spot on the jury. And she's like, no, I didn't. She was like, no, I really didn't. She's like, but I know you did. You don't have to lie to me. Yeah. She's like, well, yeah, you know what? I did, and I'm so happy, and you could come see one of my shows sometime. Yeah. And that was like not what she should have said. No. She should have just like, I feel like it sucks for Mitzi because like.
There's nothing she could have did.
She was like drawing it out of her, and she didn't want to lie. But she was trapped. Like, what is she supposed to do?
There's nothing to do.
So, not what she wanted to say, not what she wanted to hear, but she's, like, slowly crawling back out. And there's some time where she's just walking out, and then you just see, like, Pearl's, like, slowly walking out of the house, down the stairs, just watching her go. And then you see her pick up an axe.
Yeah. Hits her in the back a couple of times, then cuts her head off. Chops her body up into little pieces, and then feeds it to her alligator.
Yep.
Lot to unpack there.
Sure.
Because how is she getting away with this? She just killed her husband's sister.
How's she going to explain it when her husband comes home?
Yes, which he comes home.
Yeah.
Like the next day.
Uh-huh.
So luckily for him, though, she was making a maggot pig dinner with shitty lemonade.
Yeah, the shitty lemonade, the shitty pig dinner with the maggots that you've seen throughout this whole film as it just progressively gets worse.
Yep, two dead parents.
Or two dead parents that are there. The scene where like she's like combing her mother's like fucking her piece of her scalp hair, falling out.
And Howard comes home to this, sees this, and then Pearl smiles at him as the credits roll for roughly 2 minutes.
Yeah, she's
like a painful. I just telling Brian about this. I read that like. Ty West told her to smile, and he said he'll tell her when to stop with a cut, and he just didn't say cut, so that's like all real strain and tears and stress in her face, trying to hold that sick smile. It's the creepiest credit scene I've ever seen.
It's creepy, yeah.
But now my question is, like, how does Howard actually, because we know Howard doesn't leave her, they actually get closer. So, like, how did Howard, did the war fuck up Howard that much that he was just like
1,000%. So the war had to fuck him up.
Yeah.
Like,
that he was just like, okay with this?
And that he's okay with being with her, understanding a lot about her. I have a feeling that before he left, they had a child that she aborted.
Yeah.
So I just think he knows that. He probably feels a sense of obligation to her.
Yeah.
So he's just like caring for her. So his life is probably even worse than hers.
Yes.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah, 100%. And that's Pearl.
Yeah. And you know, like, as this goes into X, the lengths that he does to not only try to satisfy her, but to try to just make her generally happy.
Yeah.
He just never got her off of that farm.
No. It's a shame. What a shame. If only he could have got her off the...
The way we treat vets in this country
is the worst.
Well, that's Pearl.
That is Pearl. And like I said, I liked it more than X. I'm going to give this movie a I'm going to give this movie I always have the number, and then as we talk about it, I think more and more of what I actually want to give it, and I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to give it a 7, which is a point higher than I gave X.
A 7 or a Bohemian 7?
Oh, no, this is a good 7, so not a Bohemian 7. I'm going to give it a 7. I just think Mia Goth is so phenomenal in this movie. Just between the 7.5-minute monologue to the smile at the end to the creepy dance moves to her joyous like life to like just flipping into angry and evil. It's just I don't even care about the rest of the movie. It's just her. Like she's so good at this. I love it. 7.
Yeah, I have it a 7 as well.
Yeah.
I also really like this movie. We chatted before. You like Pearl more. I like X more, but I still, like I said, I still think it's like almost just as good. I think the movie it's just different. It's a different vibe. You're not getting a horror movie. You're getting a character pick that's based on her character in a horror movie.
Exactly.
But it's like her developing madness through her isolation at home. And the time is interesting. You see them wearing masks and stuff, so they do like the time period well. And I guess, I don't know if there's any kind of treatment with them. They're clearly Germans in America. Yeah. Or at least her mother is. It's definitely a different, interesting concept. It's a timepiece. It's a character piece. I did enjoy it. So yeah, I give it a 7. I'm very excited to see what Maxine becomes.
Me too.
Which will be the sequel of X, which I believe is pretty much Maxine loose in LA.
That's what I think it is too. So I'm excited for it. It's why we had to, even though this wasn't traditional horror, we had to cover this before we covered like Maxine when it does come out.
Could you? I have no idea what that's going to be.
Regardless, horror movie, drama movie, we're going to do it here. We have to. We have to cover the.
It'll probably. I mean, this was characterized as horror. So I'm assuming that Maxine will also be characterized as horror. But
yeah. Now for the Necronomicon portion. My vote, I think, is going to be Mitzi.
It's a good one.
Because just the build-up to, like, the inevitable.
Yeah.
Like
I also like her chase down.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because you know, as Pearl is monologuing, it's just leading to Mitzi's demise. And then just Mitzi's reaction to the end of it and just trying to, like, get away and just... It's really good.
I mean, her mom's good too, but
her mom is great.
Her mom's a good kill, but that's like a progressive kill.
Yeah,
like, it's not like she's still alive when she throws her down in the basement.
Yes.
Yeah, I can agree with Mitzi.
All right. Then, with that said, Mitzi. As Brian said earlier, normally the rich, the wealthy side of your family normally comes off as arrogant or condescending, but you are a sweet girl. At first, when you asked Pearl to go to the dance rehearsal with you, I thought it was a setup. I was like, she's going to screw Pearl over somehow, and that's how Pearl goes mad. Instead, they both competed fairly. She's a sweet girl. Mitzi's a sweet girl.
Very sweet.
She didn't deserve the end she got. She didn't deserve to be carved up.
She was blonde, and now that she got this role...
And she was younger.
She, meaning Pearl, hates blondes.
Yes. I didn't even put those together. I finally put 1 and 2 together. It's why she didn't like blondes. It all makes sense. So for that, Mitzi, welcome to the Necronomicon. And that is Pearl. And now next week, we continue our 2022. What are we even calling it? Like 2022... We don't even have a name, right? It's just we're just movies in 2022.
We're just doing modern horror.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a guest on. We're gonna have Damien on, and we're gonna do Smile.
Yep. Smile. Yep.
Yeah.
A little demon, a little evil entity.
A little evil, a little bit of evil.
Be fun. Not truth or dare.
No. We already did that. Episode 13?
14. I was so close.
So we are the final podcast signing off, and we will. I don't matter. Nobody matters. She doesn't matter. We don't matter. Nobody matters. We don't matter. Nobody matters. We don't matter. She don't matter. I don't matter. We're all gonna die.
Very nice. I appreciated it. That was nice. www.thefinalpodcast.com. New episodes of The Final Podcast coming to you every single Monday on all the streaming platforms, including YouTube. Final Friday, every Friday for low-budget horror movies. We will see you next week.